Think and grow rich, you learn to fly.
Welcome to the Live Ready podcast, Beyond Think and Grow Rich, hosted by me, David R. Ibarra. Each week, we feature conversations with leaders, builders, and individuals committed to growth. And on selected episodes, we shift into the teaching mode. This is the Live Ready Learning Series, a focused 5-minute leadership lesson designed to help you turn vision into execution. Today's topic comes from my just-released book, Live Ready, Creating How Power, 28 Essential Lessons, available through Amazon. We continue with Lesson 8, The Hidden Promise. The most powerful promise. Every organization, every leader, every individual makes promises. Some are spoken, some are written, most are implied. But the most powerful promise is not your why statement, it is your how. The experience people feel every day. That promise becomes your how culture. Belief comes first, experience follows. Long before a guest ever experiences your how, the employee to team member transformation must take place. And for that transformation to occur, the quiet questions every associate carries must be answered. Will I be supported here? Will I be developed here? Will I be respected here? Will my effort truly matter? Whether intentional or not, every environment answers those questions through daily behavior, not words. Over time, those answers become the hidden promise associates believe about you and your leadership. People don't always remember what you say or what you do, but they always remember how you make them feel. That feeling becomes the foundation of your how culture. Guest, customer, client, fan. Then the focus shifts outward. The guest must experience the how before they become a customer. The welcome, the listening, the care, the consistency. When the how experience is real, a guest becomes a customer. A customer becomes a client when they keep experiencing the how. Before the sale, during the process, and long after the transaction is completed. Follow through builds trust. Consistency builds belief. Experience builds loyalty. Over time, clients who repeatedly feel the how become fans. They share it with family, friends, and neighbors, not because they're asked, but because the experience meant something to them. That is when how culture becomes the brand. Culture is a commitment, not a perk. How-driven organizations don't leave that promise to chance. They design it. Many leaders treat culture as something nice to have, an add-on once results improve. How power leaders understand the opposite is true. Culture is not a perk, it's a commitment, and it shows up in how new team members are onboarded, how mistakes are handled, how success is shared, how pressure is absorbed. Culture tells people what the organization truly values, especially when no one is watching. Compensation may attract people. Culture is what keeps them. You can always find someone willing to work for more money. You cannot easily replace trust, belonging, and belief. Organizations that rely solely on compensation eventually lose their best talent. Organizations that invest in culture create loyalty money alone cannot buy. And that loyalty compounds. Pattern power. This is where most leaders misunderstand the real driver of performance. Success doesn't respond to slogans. It responds to patterns. Performance isn't a mystery. It's a mirror. The results you see today, good or bad, are the direct outcomes of the patterns you allowed, reinforced, and repeated. That's the hidden promise. Every organization lives under the same rule. You will experience either the rewards or the penalties of your patterns. Organizations that thrive aren't running on luck. They hardwire consistent winning behaviors into their culture. They show up with urgency. They follow through. They outserve, outcare, and outcommunicate, not occasionally, every day. That's the pattern. That's the promise. And that's why they win. The pattern cuts both ways. If progress is drifting, it's not by accident. Negative patterns have taken hold. No plan, that's a pattern. Meetings without action, that's a pattern. Missed follow-ups, that's a pattern. Finger pointing instead of ownership, that's a pattern. Those aren't isolated incidences, they're habits. And habits become culture. That is what I call pattern power. The invisible force that either builds your organization or breaks it. The good news is this: patterns are a choice. One strong pattern can begin to build a how culture. One leader who shows up early. One team member who brings energy instead of complaints. One decision to deliver results instead of problems. Patterns spread. That makes them either your greatest advantage or your greatest threat. If performance feels off, don't just increase pressure. Look at the preparation pattern. If deadlines slip, don't just repeat reminders. Look at the execution pattern. If leadership feels misaligned, don't blame personalities. Look at the alignment pattern. Culture doesn't rise to aspiration. It falls to behaviors. What gets repeated gets remembered. What gets rewarded gets repeated. If you want high-performing organizations, stop praising outcomes alone. Start recognizing the actions that lead to the outcomes. That's how you rewire belief, one pattern at a time. That makes the promise tangible. How power-driven organizations make their promise real. They develop people intentionally. They create clarity around expectation. They give feedback that builds instead of breaks. They align opportunity with effort. When people trust the promise, they give more of themselves, not because they're asked, but because they believe. The belief transforms everything. Turnover slows. Engagement rises. Performance stabilizes. Momentum builds. The takeaway: success should never be a surprise. It should be a pattern you trust to perform under pressure. First, you create the pattern. Then the pattern creates your organization. That is the hidden promise. When it's honored day after day, it transforms everything. As we close today's Live Ready Learning Series, remember this: how power isn't something you talk about, it's something you practice. Why is the vision, but how is what people feel. Until next time, stay disciplined, stay intentional, and keep building a life and a business that reflects who you truly are. And live ready, my friends.
Live ready, reach higher, chase the sky. Beyond thinking, grow rich, you learn to fly. With every step forward, the future